This is Teach Me to Learn, and I've had a lot of people requesting more videos. So today I will be showing you how to draw an anime, manga, cartoon cat. Seeing as the wolf was so successful, even though it's almost 3 years old. So as you can see, I have updated a little bit, and the programs I will be using today are Photoshop 7 and UCam for recording, and Bamboo Wacom tablet. Now what I'm going to show you will translate to any drawing program or traditional program. Whatever you use, this will carry out. So let's get started. We're going to start out the same way that we started out with the wolf. I'm going to start with a head circle, and then we're going to do a chest circle, which is about here. And that down. You want them fairly close together, but not too close together. About a head apart. And then we're going to do a hip circle. And these can all be the same size, or whatever you want. And then I draw the spine, and then we're going to do the tail. Now I like to start with the head, and what you will see first is that a cat's head is very different from a dog's. First we're going to start with a dog's head is parallel, meaning they're like this to each other. From the forehead to the muzzle is parallel, but for a cat they aren't. This would be the forehead, and then it slumps and it's more like this. See, we have the head, and then this line, if it was continued, go like this, and they would intersect. So we're going to do that. Now the way I like to start is I draw the basic shape, and I just round it off like that, and then I will add the jaw, which I will add like this. And the bottom jaw is very rounded, and it can be made more prominent like so for either older characters or more brawny characters. And then we're going to go to the ears, which you're going to start a little bit past the middle, right about here, and we're going to make a cone. And then you're going to add the second one a little further behind, so you'll be able to see the ear. And then I'm going to clean this up so you can see what I'm doing. And then we're going to add this part right here. This is the cheek area here, and so we're going to add that. Now what I like to do is make the fur come to a point like so, and these should be able to be connected right here. Of course it's a suggested line, but that should be about where they connect. So what I usually do is I kind of fluff it out, but I like to make it come to a suggested point, which is right here. Now we're going to do the back of the head. Now I like to add hair, and so that's what I'm going to do now. And I like to make the hair start back here and then come out. And I like to have it collect back here. Now this is my style. Another way is to simply do that, just start it without any neck fur at all. You can make it small, or can simply do no hair at all, and this would be the way to do it. It just varies on the way you want your cat to look. Now I do a lot of comics, and I like my cats very angled and very stylized, so this is usually the look I go with. And I'm going to clean up the circles as we go, just so you can see what I'm doing. Of course you don't need to clean everything up. Now we're going to start with the inside of the ear, and we're going to start right about here between the forehead and the back of the head. I'm going to curve it up and just add a little fluff in there. You can make it go the other way. It just varies on the amount of attention you want them. This is more facing forward, very attentive. And for ears folding back, which I had a lot of trouble with this, you can either do the, okay, that doesn't look right. Now for ears folding back, you add this, but that's just not all you do. You extend the forehead so that it looks the ears are turned back. Now we're going to do that, just so I can show some more emotion, and then we just fix the hair. I'll erase that. And you'll only be able to see the tip of the ear, and that's fine. So don't be too torn up if you can't get the ear right. You're only going to see a little bit of it. Now, as you see, I've erased part of this. It's a suggested line, meaning it's believed that it's there, but it doesn't have to be there. Now the nose, you just added a point, just a tiny little triangle, like so, except to the side, because we're doing the profile. Now we're going to move on to the lower neck and chest. And what I like to do is have a similar shape to this. See, it's a nice, squarish, rounded portion. And the difference between cats and dogs is dogs have a barreled chest because they have muscle here. They have muscle that makes them breathe and jump and things like that. They use chest muscles. And cats have a collection of fur and fat here underneath. And then they have more muscle in their shoulder and back legs, which we will get to that later. So we have the basic shape here, and then you're going to just fluff it out. Don't need to get too serious with it. You can just do a little bit of fluff, and if that's too much, you can leave it the way it was if you want. That works. I like to add just a little bit of fluff. So we've got that. Now we're going to move. Now I'm going to do the basic shape of the underbelly. We're not going to go into too detailed right now. We will come back to this. But we're going to do a male, because that is what I've set up so far. So you have the chest, which is extended, and then you're going to bring it up. This is very exaggerated. This just shows the separation of the ribs right here, and then you have a part here that does not have ribs. And so it's skinnier, and so you have two lines like that. And you could continue this line here. It should be like that. That should be your general shape. But this shows there's gathering of muscles here, so that will work. And of course we're not going to keep the whole line. That's just something that's going to be for future reference, and we will deal with that later. Now, back to the front end. We are going to do the shoulders now. We're going to start with the very top of the shoulders, and it's going to be a similar shape to the dog, of a top of a triangle, a very rounded triangle, but you're going to make it very wide, like so. And that's the top of the shoulder blade, and then we're going to extend the shoulder down, and these should connect with a line. They're not going to be a straight line, it's going to be a diagonal line, but we don't need to draw that again, it's a suggested line. And we're going to start about here, a little bit away from the very top where it starts to come out. You're going to go a little lower, because this is where it starts to come out. You're going to go a little lower, but you're not going to go to the furthest point where the shoulder is going to start. So we're going to extend this. You have one line here, and then you're going to extend it inward. And then we're going to add the back of the leg, which you should be able to draw a straight line like so, and then curve in and then stop like that. They should be even right now. Now then we're going to extend the leg down. And for cats, they have legs like so, like this, where they're going to kind of tunnel down and then have small paws, unlike dogs that are going to come more parallel downward and then have more wide paws like so. Now this is a very fit body type that I'm doing, so there's going to be, this is a very fit body type I'm doing. This isn't your typical house cat. This would be something probably more along the lines of a warrior, from the Warriors books. And then you're going to continue back from this, you're going to continue this downward at a slight angle. You're not going to make them meet like this. You want it at a slight angle where they tunnel downward, but it's not abrupt. And then we're going to add a little hill for the paw, and we'll come back to that later. Now the length of the leg, a lot of people have trouble with. It needs to be, if I were to take this, the leg from the bottom of the chest and move it, it should be about the length from the head to the chest. Now if you have something odd, like a munchkin cat, it'll of course be smaller and disproportioned, which is fine, so don't worry about that. Those are specialty cats and we're not going into that right now. Now we're going to do the back leg. We're going to get back to the second leg here, but I need to do the back leg first to see where I need to place it. So to make sure when you're doing the back leg, you have a hock, which is the very back of the leg here. And you never want the hock to be higher than the leg right here. So cats and dogs do have a similarity there, where they have the separation of the leg and the ankle. So we're going to start, see, this is why we left that line there, so that we can start the top of the leg at that point right there. And we're going to start down at a slight curve, but not quite that. We're going to make it at a slight inward curve, and then when you get about midway down the first leg, you're going to go inward and extend it out at an outward curve, like so. And then we're going to do the inside, same way. We're going to match it. And then I like to draw a little line right here, and then we're going to add back leg, which consists of the ankle here, and then it's only going to go out, and then this is going to angle outward, and then we're just going to connect it at the foot. Now, when I do cat standing, I like to have the foot turned more outward than inward, so it'll look more like this than like this. Now we're going to move on to the front second leg. Now I'm going to have it, just so I can show you a bit of variety in stance, I'm going to have this leg come forward. This cat is going to be standing with its front legs together, close together. So I'm going to basically mimic the same line except a little further out, and then draw the foot a little above the foot before, and then draw a line here. And then we have the illusion of the cat that has its feet together. But you always want to make sure you don't have the feet even. That's not how it's drawn. You want to have it a little above, not below, because then it'll be on uneven ground. But if you have it above, it'll give the illusion of distance, so that when the ground is flat, like that, you can see it's just standing. Now we're going to have the back leg here, and I like to start with the rear end, this part of the leg, when I'm doing the inside leg. And basically I'm going to start about here, about midway in this curve of the underbelly. I'm going to start about midway and curve, very curved downward, and then add the hock on the back of the foot here, and then I'm going to mimic the same line from before, a little further down, and have it tight, come in tight together there. And then I'm going to draw the foot from here, not from here, a little to the side, and then come forward, curve. You want to make sure the very front of this is curved, and then we're going to add the paw. And then we have the stance here. And if you ever, it's okay to move it back, to move this leg backwards if you want. It is not okay to move it forward. The hips don't rotate like that. They are a very fixed position, and if I were to draw the skeleton of the cat, it would be a dot here for the shoulder, dot here for the lip, for the hip, and then another circle for every joint. And that would be here, 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 and here. And they would be connected like so. So I do that occasionally when I'm having difficulty placing a particular limb. So we're going to move on from there to the tail. I'm going to show you two different types of tails, the smooth tail and the fluffy tail. And we're going to start with the smooth tail. And we already have the top of the tail formed from where the spine was extended. And so I'm just going to simply mimic the line, starting a little bit further down, not out here. You don't want it too skinny, you don't want to start right there, and you don't want it too thick. So you want to start right about in the middle, and remember, if you mess up, you can always do it again. So you just kind of mimic the same line as before, trying careful to make it consistent, and then you're just going to round it at the top, and that's a smooth tail. Now for fluffy tail, there are a couple of different ways you can do it. I'm going to show you two. You're going to start with the same line as before, and we're going to start a little bit further down, and we're going to simply start with fluff. And you're just going to fluff out, and you want it to come all the way out, all the way around, and then join back at a point, like so. And then there's fluffy tail. And then a second fluffy tail is we're going to start on the top. Now this is a very exaggerated fluff, and I use this for very young characters, and for that we're going to basically get rid of this line. Now I'm going to draw the center line and then go around it from there. This is not the spine. This is a center middle line, almost like a line of symmetry, and so we're just going to curve it like that. And then I'm going to start at the top and fluff only a few places. And then we're going to basically do the same as before, starting low, and then very close together, fluffy, and then there we go. Now this could also be used for more of an aggressive stance, because you can see the top of the fur here fluffing out, right here. You can see that fluffing out, and so I'm just going to leave that there for now so I don't redo it. And then we're going to move to the eyes, which I always do last. Now, you can use the same principle as before. If you have difficulty placing the eyes, you can simply draw a straight line from the nose up, from the forehead down, and then from the center here, where the slant starts. Simply draw it out like this. And then you draw the eye. This would be the top of the eye, this would be the bottom of the eye, and this would be the center. And then we can erase these lines. Not the nose, we need the nose. Erase these lines. And then we're going to do the eyebrow, which is very easy to place. I'm going to show you a couple of different emotions. We have the just general neutral emotion, which you basically just, for the eyebrow, you just start like this. And it's a circle. It's a facial circle, and you draw a line going to it, and then just a suggested circle. Like so. So you don't want it too prominent. Now, if you want something more angry, you bring the line down and dip it over the eye, and then circle. And then we're going to do whiskers, and there are two types of whiskers that I do. I do the normal 1, 2 on the front, and then 1, 2. Now, when I have an older character, which I do have a character that is older, I crinkle the whiskers, which is up, down, out, and then up, down, basically like that. And it makes them seem older. And that is how you draw an anime manga cat.